For the first time in his career, Ryan Blaney has won multiple races in a single season. He has been going one race win a year up to this year, and today he finally broke that curse. Today he won at Michigan and kind of redeemed himself from last year. Last year he was leading at Michigan when he was crashed by his teammate Brad Keselowski. This year plays the strategy game, not necessarily the pit strategy game, but the choose cone strategy game, or the choose V strategy game. He picks the bottom line on the last restart, gets a great push from Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin jacked up William Byron on the outside lane, and Blaney was able to clear everyone and was able to hold off everyone and win at Michigan. Now, what am I talking about? We got to talk about it again. For about the 5,000th time, the package. Great job by Ryan Blaney. Great drive by Ryan Blaney, but he said it himself in his post-race interview. I had to play the air game. I hate you have to race that way. He had to play the air game. That's how it works now. That's how the racing is now at these tracks, at these 1.5 mile, 2 mile speedways. You got to play the air game. That's how the All-Star race played out. That's how a lot of these races have played out. It's how Kansas last fall played out. It's difficult to pass with this package, and at Michigan, when you're running wide open at the whole track and you can't get up to the bumper because there's an air bubble there, it makes it difficult to pass. You try to go the high line and you can't get enough momentum because you're both flooring it through the corner. You go to the bottom, you can't do anything. I mean, there's nothing the second place guy can do. William Byron tried to get a run there at the end, but it was too little too late. Blaney got to the line. Byron, it was like the closest finish in Michigan history, but it didn't really mean anything. Byron wasn't going to get there. It's not like he had a huge run of momentum. I mean, you just can't pass in this package, and today showed that. Sure, the last 10 laps after that restart were thrilling, seeing a bunch of different guys up front trying to go for the win, go for the lead, but the majority of this race was just single file, follow the leader, and even when they tried to make a move, they couldn't. On lap 2 or 3, Matt Benedetto tried to pass Kyle Larson for the lead, and because he couldn't, he had to lift for half to second. He fell back to like 5th. I mean, this package is just... It's frustrating to watch. It really is. I know. Some people enjoy it. If you enjoy it, good for you. I'm glad you can enjoy it. But it's frustrating to watch when you watch these guys. They run so hard, they drive, but then they just floor it the whole lap. And then at the end there, it comes down to just an air bubble. It's frustrating. But once again, Ryan Blaney did a tremendous job. He did exactly what he needed to do. He held off William Byron, Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin. He held off all the guys he needed to. He ran the correct line every time. He was able to kind of block these guys in a sense. So really the most valuable asset in the game right now at these speedways is blocking. Kind of like at the super speedways. Like if you're good at blocking, if you can block correctly, you're going to win the race late in the race, and that's kind of what happened here today. Ryan Blaney was able to block enough. Before that, it was William Byron, but of course, that last restart, the last restart really kind of jacked up William Byron and his chances, but once again, congratulations to Ryan Blaney. His second win of the season. His first was back at Atlanta, but he has been known to steal races, not necessarily in this fashion, but if you look at his career, his first career win was at Pocono. He's passed Kyle Busch late in that race, had to hold off Kevin Harvick late in that race in a thrilling finish. His second career win came in 2018 at the Charlotte Roval, the first ever race there where Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson crashed out of the lead, which Blaney from third place went on to win. His third career win came at Talladega when he won by that much. I was there for that. Just a reminder, if you want to go see that, go back and find that. It's one of my most viewed videos. Anyways, what are we at now? 4? His fourth career win was also at Talladega where he won by that much. His fifth career win, I think that was this year. Yeah, was at Atlanta where he passed Kyle Larson with like 3 laps to go. Went on to win today. Passed William Byron for the lead with like 10 laps to go. Had to hold off a bunch of different guys to win. Ryan Blaney does not know how to win a race without it being absolutely thrilling, exciting, just a chaotic finish. But Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating, the whole package thing, to see finishes. Like, I mean, it's an exciting finish, don't get me wrong, but it's just, when no one can pass each other, when no one can get up to the leader and try to, that dirty air playing such a big factor, it's just a bit frustrating as a fan. But you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments, obviously. But interesting Michigan race. We saw some major playoff implications in this race. Of course, the battle was between Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick for that final spot on points. And coming into this race, I think it was a 15-point lead for Tyler Reddick over Austin Dillon. And Austin Dillon was on fire early in this race. He finished third in stage one, was actually competing for the stage win prior to being passed by Kyle Larson on the last lap. Last few feet of the lap, finished third, got 8 points versus Reddick 0 points in that first stage. Second stage ends, Dillon finishes sixth in the stage, so he gained some more points on him there. Well, literally a second after him and Brad Keselowski passed the line, side by side, smoke everywhere, a car is spinning, damaged. The 3 car of Austin Dillon has been turned hard into the outside wall, and his day is finished. And all of a sudden, all those points that Austin Dillon had gained on his teammate Tyler Reddick were gone because he was done, finishing in the 30s. Day ruined. Absolutely awful ending for them. Now, for the incident itself, it's really difficult to tell from the camera angles I've seen, but I think it's both of them's fault. Dillon was coming up because the apron was bumpy. He said he didn't sound too mad in the post-race. He said, "I don't know what happened. I think I came up. I don't know." But on the replay, he kind of comes up, and at the same time, Brad Keselowski's kind of coming down, and it just chaos, wreck, sparks, flames, all that stuff. So I would say it's a little bit of both. It's tough to say. Brad definitely didn't intentionally hook him, but it's a tough call. It really is a tough call to make. Just from the camera angles we've seen, Brad sounded upset on the radio after. He was like, "Oh, dang it, I didn't mean to turn down on him. I thought he was clear of me," something like that. But, that's just tough. That's tough. Obviously, it's awful for Dillon. He had gained so many points on Reddick going into Daytona, and all of that was thrown away just by one. Just after the stage ended, too. That was even probably the most frustrating part of that, if you're an Austin Dillon fan, was that it was after the stage had ended for those two that incident happened. It's a split second. It's tough, but I don't know. I can't fully place blame on either one, I don't think. I think it really was just both of them messed up there. I think Dillon went up too quick. I think Keselowski came down too quick. I think that's on both of them, but obviously it was a worse result for Austin Dillon. Then Tyler Reddick looked like he was going to gain a ton of points on Dillon, have a 40-point gap going in the final race, and then he makes an aggressive move on a late restart going into 3 and 4 to try to get into the top 5, and he slides up the racetrack. It was a bad move. Hits Logano, and he's kind of drifting through the corner a bit, and then Logano gets turned. There's a big wreck. And then late in the race, after the last restart, Reddick had something happen to him, and he ends up spinning around. No caution was called, and Reddick ends up probably finishing last on the lead lap. So I think he only has like a 20-point gap going into Daytona. So if there's an early crash for him and Austin Dillon gets stage points, it could be over. Obviously, we get a new winner, then that does make it over. But, man, Reddick could have had such a big gap on Austin Dillon, but late race issues, late race problems end up costing him big time. Let's get to the finishing results of this race. Ryan Blaney, with his second win of 2021, a very good victory for him. 5 valuable playoff points to his name, of course. We will be talking about playoff points in the next few weeks because we are going to restart it. We are going to restart the Why Your Favorite Driver Will Win the Championship series starting tomorrow. I am going to be on the road tomorrow, moving to an apartment, and so that's gonna kind of mess up my schedule. So I'm gonna pre-record my first couple of videos tonight. I will post them on Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday, but look for those daily. We're gonna start at the top of the chart with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson will be Monday. Tuesday will be Martin Truex Jr. And then on Wednesday, whoever's third on the grid right now. We'll figure that out, but just wanted to bring that up because that is something I'm going to be doing. We've done it the last few years, and now we're going to continue doing it. But back to this race at Michigan. Ryan Blaney, his second win of the season, steals a victory late in this one. This race was dominated by Hendrick Motorsports. Larson led 70 laps. Elliott led 68 or 69 laps in this race. Byron led 20 late there in the race. Hendrick Motorsports dominated this race. They played the game perfectly. They were able to stay up front for most of this race. But late race restart happened. Byron got jacked up by Denny Hamlin. Blaney was able to take the lead, and he was able to hold everyone off. Just like his teammate Joey Logano at, Kansas last year in the playoffs. He was able to run the lines perfectly, able to use the air to his advantage perfectly, kept that clean air, used the dirty air behind him to kind of mess everyone up behind him. He just used it perfectly. He drove a perfect race those last 10 laps, and really good drive for him. Very valuable playoff points for him. Finally gets multiple wins in a season for the first time in his Cup career. So good run for Blaney. Obviously a great win for that team. His first win at Michigan. But yeah, redemption from last year, as I said earlier in this video. But as I said, once again, good run for Blaney. Good win for Blaney. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney. Second place, William Byron. He was in the back half of the top 10 for the majority of the day. Got up into the top 5 at some point. But late in this race, after stage 2, actually, there was a strategy call. They had pitted so late in the stage 2 that they were able to stay out at the beginning of stage 3 and get a ton of track position. Restarted 3rd or 4th on the top or something, whatever it is, and was able to get into second behind teammate Kyle Larson. And then through the pit cycle, the last pit stop of the day, Byron was able to actually go around Kyle Larson through the pit cycle, and he was leading for the last 20-25 laps there before that caution, and was holding off Kyle Larson. Larson was trying to hold off Hamlin, who had fresher tires. And so Byron, a really good day for him, but it could have been a win. He was so close to getting a win there, but unfortunately Denny Hamlin jacked him up just a bit too much. Tried to make some aggressive move is what it looked like to me. But unfortunate for Byron that he couldn't get another win, but a very important points day for him. He's trying to get some more playoff points. Through regular season points, I think he's 3rd, 4th, or 5th in the standings, at least in that battle right there. Third place, Kyle Larson extends his regular season championship points lead. Finished ahead of Hamlin, got more stage points than Hamlin. Really good day for him. He led a ton of laps today, but unfortunately could not get it done, could not get a race win today, could not get himself more playoff points, but he was able to extend his points lead on Denny Hamlin, which is very important. But him and Byron, Bowman, and Elliott not winning extended the winless streak at Michigan. Hendrick Motorsports has not won at Michigan since 2014 with Jeff Gordon. Fourth place, Kurt Busch, a really good day for him. He was in the top 5, top 7 most of the day, was competing for that win there at the end there. Could not get it done, but a good top 5 finish for that team. They've looked good on the speedways recently. The last speedway we went to actually was Atlanta, and he dominated that race, got the race win there, and was able to get a top 5 today. So good speed at the speedways for Kurt Busch. That's a good sign for the playoffs. Fifth place, Denny Hamlin lost some ground on the regular season championship points lead. Going to need a big week at Daytona next week. Luckily, he's really good at Daytona, so that could help him out a bunch. But a top 5 finish for him is a good day for him. Sixth place, Matt DiBenedetto needs to win. He has to win next week at Daytona to make the playoffs. Needed to win this week to make the playoffs. Was up there in the top 5 for a good portion of the day, but gets a 6th place finish. Seventh place, Kyle Busch. He was on the inside row of that last restart. He was the one pushing Ryan Blaney and shoved Blaney out into the lead after Hamlin and Byron had their little mess. It wasn't a crash or anything, but after their issues there late in the race, Busch was able to push Blaney out to the lead, and that is what got Ryan Blaney the lead, but Busch fell back a bit, finishes 7th. 8th place, Chase Elliott made a very questionable pit call. I don't know what the reasoning was, but him and Larson were 1-2 all day long. They were kicking everyone's butt today. After they pitted with like 5 to go in stage 2, tried to run everything as much as they could, and then you expect them to stay out like Larson did, like Byron did, like others did in that cycle. And you expected Elliott to stay out since he had fresh tires, but for some reason they came back down pit road during the stage break and they restarted 17th and they basically stayed 15th that whole time. Luckily, they were able to take advantage of the chaos in the late restarts and able to get up to 8th, but still, they had a race-winning car. They had a top 3 car and ends up with an 8th place finish, so that's disappointing for them for sure. Ninth place, Brad Keselowski, of course, in that incident with Austin Dillon, but gets a top 10 at his home track. 10th place, Martin Truex Jr. overcame some early issues, got damaged in the first couple of laps after contact with his teammate Kyle Busch, was running in the mid-30s, and then was able to get that patched up and was able to finish in the top 10. 11th, Chase Briscoe. He was up in the top 5 there in the last few laps. I don't know what happened to him, but he ends up finishing 11th. But he does have to win to make the playoffs. Same story for 12th place, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He has to win to make the playoffs. 13th, Christopher Bell. Good, solid day for him, but he was involved in a late race incident, finishes 13th. 14th, Kevin Harvick does clinch a spot in the playoffs. Does not have to worry about Daytona next week. He can wreck on lap 1, and he's in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. 15th, Chris Buescher. He has to win to make the playoffs. 16th, Alex Bowman. He was in the top 10 for a bit today, but falls back to 16th. 17th, Eric Almirola. 18th, Eric Jones. Announced today that he will be racing for Richard Petty Motorsports in 2022, so good for him. 19th, Bubba Wallace. He was in the top 10 for a good portion of the day. I don't know what happened. Also, his number was backwards today. That was weird. 20th, Michael McDowell. 21st, Ryan Preece. 22nd, Daniel Suarez. 23rd, Cole Custer. 24th, Ryan Newman. 25th, Justin Haley. 26th, Josh Berry was filling in for Corey LaJoie, who was in the COVID protocol system thingy. 27th, Cody Ware. 28th, BJ McLeod. 29th, Tyler Reddick. The day that could have been. They had such a strong run going, had such a big points gap on Austin Dillon, but the last 20, 30 laps of this race just absolutely collapsed. Drifted a bit there late in the race, was able to save it, and it was like, okay, maybe they can still manage some points out of this, but then that last 10-lap run spins out, no caution, 29th. Yikes. 30th, Quinn Houff. 31st, Josh Bilicki. 32nd, Garrett Smithley. 33rd, Joey Logano was involved in a crash late in this race. 34th, Anthony Alfredo. 35th, Ross Chastain had some mechanical issues today. 36th, Austin Dillon. Of course, that hard crash today. It's going to be difficult to make up those points at Daytona, where everything is shifting all the time in terms of position. So he's not in a must-win, but it's going to get desperate. If he can't get a bunch of stage points in the first 2 stages, it's going to get desperate for him and that team. 37th, Joey Gase. Blew a tire or something early in this race. I'm wearing my Joey Gase shirt today, and of course he crashes. Dang it! Anyways, that is the results for the Fire Casino 400 at Michigan. But guys, I'm sorry. I hate this package. It's frustrating. It's annoying. I hate the dirty air. I wish they could drive. I wish they weren't flooring it the whole lap. I wish they could actually pass people for the lead without, having to have wacky restarts to do it. It's just frustrating to watch as a fan, as a racing fan. I don't know about you guys. If you enjoy it, good for you. But I'm sorry. I'm just giving my opinion. That's what I do on here, and it's just frustrating. It just frustrates me. Sure, the last 10 laps were entertaining. That's nice, but the first 190 laps, they kind of sucked. They weren't great. 4.8 out of 10. Yeah, we'll bump it to a 5 because the last 8 laps were thrilling. 5 out of 10. This race, I do not recommend. I'm sorry. The last few laps were thrilling, but the last few laps do not make up a whole race. It was kind of a boring race at times. The Austin Dillon drama made it kind of exciting. That kind of woke me up, but, 2 cars led 3/4 of the race. I don't know what you want me to do. Sure, that happens in regular races with the 750 package and stuff, but it's because no one could pass them. There were some cars that were definitely faster. There were some cars that had fresher tires that could have passed them, but no, dirty air. It's just frustrating. It's so frustrating. I hope we get a different package next year. If we don't, I'm going to cry. I'm going to genuinely cry. Anyways, have a great rest of your day. As I said, I'm going to pre-record some videos for this week. Tomorrow you will see why Kyle Larson will win the championship case. Tuesday will be Truex. Wednesday, whoever's through, and then on and on and on and on. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your weekend.